Thank you. Um, my topic is, I purposely chose it because it was a college and I had to tell the story of a little student all the way to the Prime Minister's letter. So the topic that I chose today is, and it's a guesswork, okay? So middle of the talk, I will reveal that word. But what is that three-letter word that we all must use often, but we don't? And I will tell you a story of my life, and you will find this hidden word there. And in the middle of the talk, if somebody can guess that word, I'll be very happy, right? And I was always not about to make it to this event, and then I reminded myself what my topic was, and then I made it to this event again. So that's the hint, right? So let me take you back to this little 5-year-old girl who was this little chubby girl who was walking around in a big joint family of 13 in Delhi. And one fine day she had a mother in the evening, and next morning she did it. And nobody asked, and nobody told her, and nobody took a consent from her saying, "We're taking your mother away." Well, she was taken away because of her mental health issues, and harmony was needed in a big joint family of 13. And me being me, and the family being a loving family, carried on, I was always okay, everything was fine. But then the warning signals started to come on the results. 20%, 25, 30, 35, 20 again. And year after year after year, sometimes I had to even write, "I will not fail again. I will not fail again." 100 times. I'm talking about 30 years back, probably that's the way we dealt with failures. Well, that's how it was termed. But when nobody gave up on me, the family knew she was struggling and she had to keep going, and somehow I reached grade 10 and I passed 54%. I did okay. I passed the board exams. Then came and the hidden word is there. It's already going on, this hidden word. So now that's the hidden word. You have to find how the success came. So grade 11 was given arts, humanities, and 35 years back I was denied science or commerce because I was not worthy of it. How can I be? The result showed. Not worthy of science, not worthy of commerce. Go to arts. And at that time, arts was not as beautiful as it's celebrated today. At that time, if you don't do well, you go to arts. So reluctantly, no other option, I took arts. And I didn't know my life was about to change right there and then. My life changed the minute I reached arts. 12th grade, 83%. Venkateshwara College, first. Honors first list. Then photography, all of 18, my dad had a camera, so I took photography from him a little bit and started winning inter-college, university, got the Saraswati Award for the university level. And then my fine arts department teacher said, this is your path, go and do a course. And I did a course with Australians who were here in India for 3 years only. And I chose a very different career. I went back to a business class family and said I wanted to be a baby photographer. 25 years back, baby photographer, what is that? Nobody knows. And my grandmom said, what's she going to do? She's going to go to weddings and take pictures, or she's going to open a passport-size photograph studio in the corner. She has a ready-made business standing right here. Why is she not doing that? My dad said, let her go. Because I think this is her path, and he supported me. From there, a very, very thriving career for 10 years, known in Delhi for creating a path for many women photographers today who are doing baby and child photography as a career. All superstar, being, in Femina and being all the top newspapers. And then I got married and I became a mom. What happened? Overnight, I disappeared in my existence. Not because of my child or anybody else. I would just keep sitting next to my child, Scott, and keep looking at him and say, I can't leave you. Not even for a minute. I didn't trust anybody. I wanted to be with my kid all the time because if I blinked, I thought my child would be taken away. And suddenly I realized, just the way overnight my mother went away, somebody might just take my child away. And it took a lot of effort to deal with all that I had not dealt with 30 years. To sit there, to this failure who had achieved, all the way there, to come down again. And day by day, day by day, day by day, losing herself, this girl who went to exhibitions, this girl who was on stages, this girl who was in newspapers, slowly vanished, holding a child in her hand and said, I can't leave you. I can't. Because I could feel what it would be for my mother to leave. By the time the second child came in, lockdown happened. And something in me I didn't know how to give up. That's how it was. I didn't know how to give up. So I one day switched on the live button and said, I'll teach photography, I'll pivot, lockdown, doesn't matter. So I switched on the live button, switched it off, switched on, switched it off. Why? Because I couldn't recognize the girl in front of the camera anymore. You know, I was known for bringing light to mother's stories in pictures, and I'd lost that light within. And I said, I can't go live. Look at me. What do I look like? This is not me. But then I worked on it, and one fine day, I announced 100 days, 100 inspiring stories, 100 mothers across will come in a book, and we will rise from there. To honor motherhood formally, the disappearing, the silence, the little losses that they have which are never counted for. And I started to talk to mothers across the world, and I realized that mothers everywhere in the world felt the same. Whether they were working mothers, whether they were Air Force officers, whether they were Paralympians, whether they were sports. So I have all kinds of mothers in the book. And then I hope you guys are paying attention to the word that's been used every time I achieved. And then one mother on the 100th day told me that, what if we come to India? I was 700 likes, woman who had last 10 years lost herself. She said, what if I come to India to launch this book with you? She was 77 years old, Lucy from Mexico. I said, will you come? I said, if you come and others come, I'll host you. In our country, we host guests. We don't charge them. Big claim, huh? Big claim of this mother who's not working actively. She said, okay, and the ticket came into my email. My ticket is done, $4,000 spent, I'm coming. One after the other, 40 tickets came, and I had to do something because I promised. I have a 1-year-old in my hand. Second one was 1-year-old at that time. And just come out from lockdown and just moved to Pune. I was like, okay, fine. Started knocking the doors of the sponsors. Will you sponsor a mother? Will you sponsor a mother? Will you sponsor a mother? What a great project, everybody said. But what is the ROI? What is the return of interest on honoring a mother? What a beautiful question. How do you give a return of interest on the mother's sleepless nights and her story and her struggle? Return of interest. Wow. I didn't give up. I still knocked and knocked and knocked and knocked. And I knew there's only one man who had not forgotten, as of now in the world of public, what the ROI of a mother is, and that was our Prime Minister. He was honoring, I saw in the TV, he was honoring his mother, and I was like, maybe he'll understand. So there goes the dream of a girl who's nobody, 700 likes, mothers coming from across the world. And then she has the audacity to write to the Prime Minister to say, give me a letter so that I can do a sponsorship. So students just hear how these stories go, where we reach. 6 months I waited, 1 month away from the event, 40 tickets, all getting ready. My husband opening his mutual funds, we are trying to do everything we can because we have to. We have to honor the guests who are coming from India and different parts of the world. And then one fine day, the PDF on my phone came, and there was a phone from the Home Ministry. Ma'am, you have the letter from the Prime Minister for honoring the mother. And I hope it's not late, but you can use it to find the sponsorship. ROI word came. I'm like, return of interest. That's the man who's honored it. Of course, we figured it out and we had the mothers. We had mothers coming in. 40 of them stayed, they cried, they did things, they shared. Those corridors, voices still echo of the stories that happened. And here I am, a speaker. Volume 2 is starting now. 100 more mothers will come to India now. And maybe it'll keep going on so that we can honor the silent suffering of the mother. And I finally could get up and tell my mother, you were perfect just the way you were then and just the way you are now. And I had not met her for so many years. And 2 months later, I got a message from somebody saying she passed away. So my mother silently suffered, probably prayed for her daughter to rise, for other mothers. And here I am standing, talking on behalf of mothers and celebrating them and making them understand that let them tell their story their way, not the way the world wants to hear. So here is, anybody gets the word that I used to reach where I am standing here? Three letter. I was a baby. Yeah, 3-letter word. May I say that? Can I tell the word? It's the word yes. Yes. When I was a kid, I said yes to so many things, from taking an unconventional to going to becoming a full-time mother, to standing up again, to having the thought to write to the Prime Minister, to saying yes if the mother asked me that will we come to India, will you host us, and etc, etc, etc. So there were a lot of yeses. And because you are students, I want to leave you all with the kinds of yeses we have in our life. And without that yes, moving forward is very difficult, because no happens easily. Yes, there's a kind of a yes which is called a stubborn yes. That stubborn yes happens when your heart knows. Like I knew I needed to honor the mother. No matter what, 700 likes, no problem. But I will make sure that I honor them. So there was a stubborn yes, even if the world said no. There's a habitual yes which you give because you want to say yes all the time so that you don't give up on your dreams. Then there is a reluctant yes. What is the reluctant yes? When your fears are taking over, before your mind takes over and says, no, we can't do this, we can't do this, we can't do this, we have to say yes. That's a reluctant yes. Our mind is saying no, but we say yes. And then there is a yes to a no. Because when you say no, you say yes to the truth. So to be able to say no, you need to get up and say, I will say no. Yes, I will say no to this. This is not right and this is. So even to know there is a yes before. It's a hidden yes, but there is a yes. So all I want to say before I leave is that no's are very important to create boundaries, to protect yourself, to be safe. But yes is the only way to move forward, to dream, to take adventures. And I hope you can find where your yeses are and take it in your hand and move forward and stand on stages just the way I am. Thank you.